Welcome to this deep dive. We're tackling a question that, well, kind of sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. Should AI have voting rights when it comes to decisions made by corporations? And we're not just talking about, AI advising board members or anything like that. We're talking algorithms actually casting votes,
Yeah.
like votes with real consequences,
Yeah, it is a fascinating concept. And you know what? It's not as far-fetched as it might sound at first. I mean, we're already seeing AI making decisions in certain areas.
like Tesla.
Exactly. Think
Yeah.
about Tesla's use of AI. It's used in product development and market strategies, right? And let's not forget about the financial algorithms, like the complex ones that major banks use,
Mm.
where AI is essentially, executing trades based on all this market data.
Right. And that shift, that's what's so interesting here, right? It's not just an advisor anymore. It's like AI is becoming the decision maker.
Yeah.
And that's what's fueling this whole debate. So let's break it down. On one side, we have the people who are all for AI voting rights. They think this could revolutionize how corporations are governed.
Yeah. One of their main arguments has to do with efficiency. Think about it. AI can process huge amounts of data, way beyond what any human could ever do. Market trends, financial reports, even like sentiment on social media, all that stuff.
Mm.
AI can analyze it, identify patterns, make predictions, things that humans might totally miss. And in industries where things move super fast, where every second counts, that speed, AI's data crunching abilities, that could be a game changer for companies.
So it's like AI could help businesses be more agile, more responsive, adapt to
Yes.
change quicker, right?
Yeah.
But what about the downsides? That's where the critics come in.
Yeah, the critics of AI voting rights, they've got some serious concerns. And a major one is accountability. It's a big sticking point. Like, what happens if an AI makes a decision, right? And that decision leads to, let's say, a major financial loss or even an ethical breach? Who takes the blame?
That's a good question.
Right. Is it the AI? Like, can you hold an algorithm responsible? What about the programmers, the people who created it, or the executives,
Yeah.
the ones who gave it the power to vote in the first place? It gets really blurry, the lines of responsibility.
Yeah, it's like we're in this legal and ethical gray area. I mean, we're used to holding humans accountable for what they do. But when you bring AI into the picture, things get a lot more complicated.
Exactly. And that ties into another big concern, the critics. They worry about this potential lack of human judgment. AI, it operates on algorithms,
Mhm.
data, but it doesn't necessarily understand all the nuances, like human values, ethics, the long-term consequences of things.
You're saying like AI might be all about short-term gains, like boosting profits no matter what, even if it means, I don't know, cutting corners ethically
Mhm.
or overlooking how things might impact employees down the road or the environment.
That's exactly it. That's a big concern, and it's tough to address. You can't just program ethics into an AI. It's not
Yeah.
that simple. You're talking about understanding context, weighing different values, making judgments, things that go way beyond just analyzing data.
So we've got this sort of like allure of efficiency, of data-driven decisions, but then there's the potential risk, right? AI exceeding its boundaries, making decisions that could have these negative consequences.
It's a classic dilemma, isn't it? It
Yeah.
really shows how important it is to be having these conversations now. Before AI voting rights become, more widespread, we need to think it through, the potential benefits and the pitfalls, and come up with frameworks that make sure AI is used responsibly, ethically, in corporate governance. It's interesting, this whole debate, it really reflects like our bigger anxieties about AI in general, about its role in society.
Yeah, it's like this microcosm, right, of all our fears about AI becoming too powerful, replacing jobs,
Yeah.
making decisions that could have like these unintended consequences. But what if, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, what if instead of fearing AI, we could actually use it, harness its potential to make the corporate world better, more efficient, more equitable even?
That's the optimistic view. And there are actually some pretty compelling arguments for it. Just imagine AI being used to like eliminate bias in hiring, because it can process all that data. It could help identify those biases, lead to a more diverse workforce. Or think about sustainability. AI analyzing environmental data, recommending strategies for companies, practices that are good for the planet and for profits.
Those are really good examples. So
Yeah.
it's like in the right context, AI could help us fix some of the very things that the critics are worried about.
Exactly. It's not about like getting rid of human judgment altogether. It's more about using AI as a tool. to enhance our decision-making, like a partnership, you know? Humans set the goals, the ethical guidelines, and AI provides the data, the insights, to help us achieve those goals more efficiently, more effectively.
Okay, so it's not humans versus AI. It's more about, like, how can we collaborate to create a better future for everyone? But how would that actually work? Like, in a real company, AI sitting in on board meetings, casting votes alongside the executives.
That's a great question. And there are different models, things people are exploring. One idea is AI is like the super advisor. It analyzes everything, presents its recommendations to the board members, the humans, and then the humans make the final call. They vote. Another model, well, you could actually give AI votes on the board, proportionate to, I don't know, its stake in the company maybe, or its level of expertise in a particular area.
That's pretty wild. But how do you make sure that, even if it's just advising, how do you make sure AI's voice doesn't drown out the humans? Or that we don't become, like, too reliant on its recommendations?
That's where transparency is key. AI, its decision-making process, it all has to be transparent, understandable to us humans. We need to be able to see how it got to its conclusions, make sure its recommendations, they're aligned with our values, our ethics.
So it's not enough to just have AI in the room,
Yeah.
right? We have to understand how it's working and have ways to ensure that, humans are still in control, that there's accountability.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember AI, it's not this one thing. There are different types of AI. Each one has its own strengths and weaknesses. Some are better at analyzing data. Others are great at recognizing patterns or processing language. It's not all the same.
So the type of AI that a company uses, it would depend on what they need, what their goals are. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Exactly. And this brings up another really important point, human expertise. In AI, in how it's developed, how it's implemented, we need skilled engineers, data scientists, people who can build and train these AI systems to be reliable, unbiased, aligned with, human values.
So even in a world where AI is making more decisions, human skills, human expertise, those are still going to be crucial. It's not about replacing us. It's about empowering us to work with AI.
That's a great point. That's a key takeaway from this deep dive. The future of AI in corporate governance, it's not about some takeover by machines. It's about a partnership where humans and AI work together to create businesses that are more efficient, more equitable, more sustainable.
And as with any technology,
Right.
especially one that's powerful, the key is to use it wisely, ethically, and to really understand both its potential and its risks. It's funny, as we've been talking about this whole idea of AI having a say in corporate decisions,
Yeah.
it really makes you think, like, are we about to see a fundamental change in how businesses operate?
It's definitely possible. I mean, for a long time, it's been all about shareholder capitalism, right? The main focus, profits for the owners. But when you bring AI into the picture, it brings up some interesting questions like who or what should actually have a voice in how a company is run?
Right, exactly. Like if AI is making decisions that affect employees, customers, even the community, shouldn't they have some say too? It's almost like AI is forcing us to, I don't know, rethink the whole idea of corporate responsibility.
That's a really good point. Traditionally, corporate responsibility, it's always been seen as something optional, right? Like a company chooses to do it, maybe to look good, for PR or to attract certain types of customers. But imagine what if AI was actually tasked with making sure a company acts ethically, based on its own values and principles. AI, it can analyze all that data, assess risks.
So instead of it being this like add-on, it's built in. Like AI is the ethical watchdog.
Yeah, exactly. And that could change everything. How businesses operate, I mean, everything. Think about it, an AI that's programmed to prioritize sustainability. It analyzes the supply chain, finds areas where they can reduce environmental impact, recommends new practices that are good for the planet and good for business.
Wow. It's like giving the corporation a conscience, always pushing it to do the right thing, not just for profits, but for, the greater good.
And it goes beyond just ethics, too. AI could help make things fairer, more transparent. Like, imagine an AI that looks at compensation data, make sure employees are paid fairly, or one that flags potential conflicts of interest, with board members.
It sounds like AI could really help us create a more just corporate world. But, and I know we've talked about this, there are risks, right? Like bias in AI decision-making.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. It all comes down to the data. AI systems, they're trained on data. And if that data reflects biases that already exist in society, well, those biases can get amplified in the AI's decisions. So Let's say you've got an AI trained on hiring data, right? And historically, there's been a preference for male candidates for certain roles. Well, the AI might just keep perpetuating that bias. It doesn't know any better.
So the data has to be good. It has to be diverse, representative, free from those harmful biases. And even then, you still need humans. Humans to keep an eye on things, to make sure the AI is making good decisions to catch any problems.
Absolutely. Can't just let AI run wild, right? Assume it's always going to make the best choices. Human judgment, ethical reasoning, those are still crucial, especially when you're dealing with these complex decisions, ones that have real social and moral implications.
So the key takeaway here is AI can be a powerful tool for making businesses better, but it's not a magic solution. It takes careful planning, thoughtful implementation, and humans. Humans need to be involved, providing oversight, making sure it's used ethically, effectively.
That's a great way to put it. The future of AI in the corporate world, it's not about replacing humans, it's about collaboration, working together, humans and AI, to build a better business world. More responsible, more equitable, more sustainable.
Well, listeners, we've covered a lot today. The potential benefits, the risks, AI having a voice in corporate decisions. It's a complex issue, and there are no easy answers. But it's a conversation we need to keep having. AI is only going to play a bigger role in our lives.
And as always, we want to hear from you. What do you think? Should AI have voting rights? What safeguards do we need? Let us know in the comments.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to join us next time for another deep dive.